Hello and welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the queen of the woke as crowned by one of my haters. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you to everyone who's joined me already. I can't run this channel without you. We got some TV news today, and of course, naturally, as promised, this is all about Doctor Who. The news that broke last week. It was pretty chaotic with the amount of news that we received. I will of course be talking about the writers, but I will be focusing on that later on in the video because it's going to take up a good chunk of that video, so please make sure that you actually stick around for that. I am going to be talking about Doctor Who right now. Let's start with Jo Martin. She is a very good actress. I do like with Jo Martin, but did you see the article that she did with Doctor Who magazine? Now, I don't actually get the Doctor Who magazine, but I have seen quotes from it, and I did put the feelers out there on my YouTube channel and got some opinions, and I've got some of them here, and I will have a look at those in a moment. Now let's take a look at what she had to say. I've taken this from Doctor Who TV, and please feel free to actually go and read the article for yourself. I have linked the article below for you. Speaking about her role in Doctor Who magazine, Martin acknowledged the ambiguity surrounding her character's place in the show's mythology. I think a lot of fans are really hung up on that. Quite a few want to know, where in the canon do I come? They'll come and ask me on train journeys. I'm like, listen, you'll have to ask Mr. Chibnall because I didn't write this. Martin's incarnation of the Doctor was, of course, first introduced during Jodie Whittaker's era as part of the controversial Timeless Child storyline, which massively complicates the Time Lord's origins, to put it lightly. Some fans assumed that her character predated William Hartnell's Doctor, but former Doctor Who showrunner Chris Chibnall has remained deliberately vague about the details. Now the actress has shared a surprising revelation. She was originally briefed that she is the actual first incarnation of the Doctor. Step aside, William Hartnell. Martin said, all I know is that when I took the job and they were trying to explain my Doctor to me, I was told how it was going to work, that I was the first Doctor. So I was like, okay. The article then goes on to talk about Big Finish. Those of you who do not know who Big Finish are, they produce the Doctor Who audio plays, and they have just acquired the rights to The Fugitive Doctor, and it's basically up to them to sort the mess out, if they choose to sort this mess out at all. Now, I do actually think that Jo Martin was a better Doctor than Jodie Whittaker for sure, but I do not see the Fugitive Doctor as the first Doctor. The Hartnell Doctor is the first Doctor. He is always listed first in absolutely everything as the first Doctor. It's hard canon that has been established. It is my belief that Chibs may not actually be the biggest fan of the first Doctor. The first Doctor is quite often really scored down low on the list alongside Colin Baker, so it is possible that this was done as his little way of changing something to make it more epic. That of course is just speculation, but we saw what happened with the War Games. You know, I mean, that wasn't obviously Chibnall, but it's a fine example. Now, of course, it may not be the case, but for me, definitely not Jo Martin. The Fugitive Doctor is not the first Doctor and never will be. Co Cludd says, I just see her as a Doctor from a parallel universe, explains the discontinuity easily. Now, here's the thing. I actually had reason to believe that this was also the case myself. I thought it was also an alternate timeline. I had reason to believe that the Jodie Doctor, when she fell through whatever it was that she fell through, I can't really remember. I've only ever seen it once, and to be honest with you, I don't really want to see it again, but I know I'm going to have to. But I actually thought that this was an alternate timeline, and thus these events had folded, but it seems to have been now set in stone. I think they told her so she would enter a pre-Hartnell mindset to help her acting. I don't think she's canonically the first incarnation ever. I agree that she's not the first incarnation ever. However, they could have just tell her, to go and actually watch the first Doctor stories. Jo Martin is actually a very well established actress. The last thing I had seen her in prior to Doctor Who was actually Holby City. So like I said, in order to get into the mindset of the Doctor, or any pre-Doctor mindset that she might have actually needed to do, she only had to go and watch them. She only had to go and actually look it up and actually do a bit of research like the other doctors go and do. They're all on BBC iPlayer. Not that many people are buying these BBC TV license anymore. And you can actually get them on DVD. You get the feel of what the actual Doctor is truly like, of course, naturally from the writing, but not only that, you can see it in all the incarnations of the Doctor, right up until Peter Capaldi. It's not hard to do the homework in this case. But that is not all in the Doctor Who news. Oh no, we had a post from Bad Wolf on Instagram. Let's take a look at it. So if you are unawares as to what is actually going on, this is what Bad Wolf actually posted the other day. By the way, I do actually apologise. These next few videos are going to be me really close to the microphone. I have a connection issue and I need to buy a new cable. We loved having Doctor Who and Derry Girls film with us during 2024 and are excited to welcome new productions to Cardiff in 2025. We have 140,000 square feet of stage space supported by offices, workshops, edit suites, backlot and secure unit parking areas. So naturally, of course, this sent people into an utmost spiral of, is Doctor Who actually being cancelled, because they used the past tense. So I thought I would weigh in some opinions here. Of course, this is just speculation. The first option is that it genuinely has been cancelled, so they are going ahead and just advertising their space so that they continue making money and producing content for TV. Do I think that it is the first option? Yes, it's possible. The scary thing is with the TV license at the moment recently is that Keir Starmer is thinking about charging people through the TV license to watch Netflix and Disney Plus, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Those two are already subscription services, so why would you need to actually pay extra in order to be able to watch them on your TV? Now, I actually think that BBC need to strongly consider of actually abandoning the TV license altogether, because so many people are cancelling it, and actually look at other ways of bringing in the revenue for themselves, like advertising, third-party advertising, or even switching it over to a streaming service. But I think it would be more beneficial for them to actually have third-party advertising in this case. The TV license is virtually dead in the water right now. I've also heard along the grapevine that things have actually been packed up and moved on. So who is to say what is going on? I am aware that they are going back for some actual promotional filming, but of course, naturally, we will wait and see as to what actually will happen with this. We are so invested because we are Doctor Who fans after all. The other possible option is that Disney has not actually yet confirmed whether or not they are going to go ahead and fund a second series, and instead of waiting for an answer, Bad Wolf have actually just decided to go ahead and rent out the studio space whilst they are waiting for that confirmation. It is normal for stage spaces and production companies to go ahead and actually do things like that. It is not actually unheard of at all. And how else are they going to bring in the revenue when they can't make something like Derry Girls or Doctor Who? The third option is that Disney has already agreed to go ahead and fund the third series for the show. However, there is a gap for some commitments maybe, and that's why they've not actually gone ahead with filming, or maybe they need to have various meetings before anything goes ahead. So they have to actually prioritize those things, and whilst they're waiting, they're advertising the space and they've taken everything down. That third option, though, is a little bit of a stretch. I think it's more likely to be the first two options. At the moment, I can't currently see the BBC wanting to continue with the funding for Doctor Who, particularly if they are having financial problems with the TV licence, even though Doctor Who is actually in their audit as one of the biggest money spinners for them. But that, of course, is just speculation. It could still very well go ahead and be funded by the BBC. You just don't know that. I could very well be wrong. It could be option 2. And to be honest with you, at this stage, I've thrown around so many theories because you hear so many things. But, well, let me know what you think in the comments below. Now for the bit that you've all been waiting for. Me talking about the writers. On January the 27th, Doctor Who released this post on X. Our TARDIS team just got bigger. Welcome aboard our new writers for Season 2, Juno Dawson, Inua Ellams, Pete McTighe and Sharma Angel Walfall. And there you have the picture of the 4 writers on the screen, and I have some of the credentials here as well. Let's talk about those very briefly. Juno Dawson is a #1 Sunday Times best-selling novelist, screenwriter and journalist whose books include the global bestsellers This Book is Gay and Her Majesty's Royal Coven. Dawson created the first official Doctor Who scripted podcast, Doctor Who Redacted. And then it goes on to talk about Juno watching Doctor Who when they were 10 years old. Inua Ellams is a writer and curator who published books of poetry, include Candy Coated Unicorns and Converse All Stars, and The Actual. His first play, The 14th Tale, was awarded a Fringe First at the Edinburgh International Theatre Festival, and other plays include Barbershop Chronicles, which played at the National Theatre, Three Sisters, and The Half God of Rainfall. And he also talks about being a Doctor Who fan and that he was in Nigeria. Now, Pete McTighe is actually someone who has experience for writing for the Jodie Whittaker era. Pete McTighe will already be known to fans as he wrote the 13th Doctor episodes Kablam and Praxeus with Chris Chibnall, and is a writer and executive producer on the forthcoming spin-off The War Between the Land and the Sea. That title is too long. He has created, written or executive dramas including The Pact, BBC, The Rising Sky, and A Discovery of Witches, HBO, and Wentworth. Sharma Angel Walfall originally hails from Manchester and won the inaugural Channel 4 New Writing Award that set her off on her screenwriting journey. She wrote an episode of Dreamland for Sky starring Lily Allen and Freema Agyeman, and has been in a number of writers' rooms including Supercell, Renegade Nell, A Town Called Malice, and Noughts and Crosses. And Sharma just goes on to say how she is excited to be part of the Doctor Who family. Now, those are their credentials. I actually don't know very much about Inua Ellams and Sharma Angel Walfall. I obviously know who Pete McTighe is, having watched Kablam and Praxeus, and I am aware of Juno Dawson because of the Doctor Who credits as well. Now, my biggest concern would be, can they actually write sci-fi and all write a good story, and are they experienced enough to do so? Well, it seems that Ellams has experience in writing plays, and so does Angel Walfall, so it's possible. I know that this has been a very hot topic recently, and it really is quite sad in many respects that it has actually come to this in this day and age where a show has faced so much controversy that we are tiptoeing around, and we are very, very wary of what's actually going to be put in a show that many of us have loved for decades. All of that has made this writer's announcement turn into a massive media storm, and of course, naturally, I am talking about Juno Dawson. I know people want my opinion on the fact that Juno Dawson is writing for Doctor Who, and I'm going to say right now, I'm not bothered about Juno being trans in this case, and when it comes to watching Juno's story, I will try and judge it as fairly as I can with an open eye. I did that with the rest of the series, for the last one, and I will do the same here. I really will. You all know that I try and make sure that I separate what they say and do outside in public and online away from what they are actually producing content wise. It is hard, but I will try. However, there is a big cause for concern, of quite big concern, and understandably so. Makes me wonder what on earth RTD is actually doing. Not that I would actually begrudge someone a job, but I hope that for this particular writer, strict rules have actually been put in place. In actual fact, for all of these writers, but I am wary after what we got for last series. I saw on X all of these photographs of Juno's books going around. It was going viral, and the contents of these particular pages. I wanted to be much more well informed, so I ordered the books into my local library. I am still waiting for 2 of them at the moment, but I actually do have these 2. This Book is Gay and What's the Tea. These 2 are more sex educational based books according to the things that have been written inside of them, and the other 2 books that I have actually ordered are just novels. I just wanted to actually get a sense of how Juno writes, and I expect at some point I may actually look into the Doctor Who content as well. I am not very far into these books, so I will not actually give an opinion on them as of yet. But I have seen things from just flicking through that I would actually say that this is not for the ages of 12 plus. That's the demographic that this is aiming for, 12 plus, adolescent. Okay, so up to 18. And I think that some of this could actually be probably for 16-year-olds at a push, but I would actually put it up to an 18. But I need to read the full contents first to be 100% sure. At a very brief glance, I cannot actually read some of these things that is written in this. Otherwise, I would actually get demonetized, and I really don't want to do that. Now, I'm not going to obviously rush to any conclusion and say that this type of writing is actually going to be in the final script. I am worried, obviously, because of the nature and the context of these 2 books. But I also need to read the novels as well to be fully informed. And like I said, I may look into what Juno has also done for Doctor Who. But like I say, there is a worry because these 2 books were in schools and have actually been banned. One of them's been banned in Alaska altogether, and Juno actually mentions this in What the Tea, I think, just from the few pages that I've read so far, and seems to be quite proud of it. Or is it This Is Gay? I don't know, I can't remember, but it has been mentioned. So it is a worry, and I understand where people are coming from when they bring this up, and I would never aim these 2 educational books at 12 years old, and one of the main demographics of Doctor Who is 12 years old. It does actually make me wonder though, how far is Bad Wolf willing to push these types of pushy messaging and this type of content? I hope that the script editor has actually gone through all of the scripts with a very fine tooth comb, because they've already filmed the 2nd series, so there's no way they're going to be able to make any changes and actually react to what people fed back from the last series versus what people are saying about the upcoming series now, especially when they've dismantled the sets. I also find it interesting how they've gone and chosen activists. Juno releases sex education books purposely for that age. Now, from what I can gather from reading the first few pages of each one, the opinion of Juno is that there is gaps missing in sex education. However, it's quite graphic. So I understand where people are coming from when you have these posts on X, and I have the same worry, but I will try and watch with an open eye and try and be fair, but I will call it out if I fully disagree with what's happening within Juno's story. I want to make that perfectly clear. I won't lie to you. I am not too keen with some of the quotes that I've read with what, Juno actually says about women. It's quite vulgar. Some of Juno's tweets are actually floating around on X as well. If you would actually like to go and read them, all you have to do is go to X and type in Juno Dawson. They are quite vile. A lot of people are putting this down to T-phobia. Juno has also done the same. I have linked also a video below for you to go and actually watch. This is Juno responding to any vitriol and hate that may have occurred with regards to Juno having this job. Now, some people have watched this particular video and have taken the last part of the video where Juno says, "I won," as a victory for trans people. Juno was saying that they won because Juno got the job of a very, very prestigious TV show that has pretty much gone down the drain at this point. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. Chat about it, don't shout about it. Like and subscribe. I shall see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.